Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Today, I had something different planned, but then I learned last night about this Boeing Starliner. So today we're going to talk about that. Let's watch some stuff.
Tonight, the Atlas V rocket will lift off with its most precious payload yet, people. 170 feet up the launch tower at Pad 41, we met Ron Fortson, head of launch operations here. He showed us where Starliner's crew will climb into space history.
That's exactly where they go to strap in. So this is the last stop before they head up to space.
And liftoff.
To be the ones on the pointy end, riding and leaving the planet, wow.
Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams, former Navy test pilots and two of NASA's most seasoned astronauts, will take Starliner on a test drive to the International Space Station. The goal, certify Starliner works the way it's supposed to, so NASA can begin annual crew flights to the space station. NASA wants redundancy and hired both Boeing and SpaceX a decade ago. Boeing is under great pressure to perform after costly and setbacks in its commercial aviation business and more costly setbacks in developing Starliner to fly people. The spacecraft is more than 7 years behind schedule, stung by problems with flight software, jammed valves, and parachute safety concerns. Setbacks which have cost the company more than $1 billion.
There's one priority, and it's to do this safely.
Mark Nappy is Starliner's program manager.
I have full confidence that people are putting the vehicle together properly to get a safe vehicle up into orbit with people on board.
Now, most people know Boeing specifically for the airplanes, especially the crap that we've been seeing lately, like the people that are suddenly disappearing because they got things to say about Boeing, and doors flying off of airplanes. Right? That's Boeing. But they're also pretty big in rockets, like the Delta rockets, and taking payloads up to space. And in 1993, NASA contracted with Boeing to build the International Space Station. And the Starliner apparently is their first human transporter. Like they're sending people up to the International Space Station. And there have been a swath of issues with their ships. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by today. If you could please hit that like button for me. It'll help my video get recommended to more people and help my channel out. And I really appreciate it. And if this is your kind of content, won't you consider subscribing and then come back tomorrow? Because I'm making a new video every day.
So Starliner is delayed again? In 2019, after years of development, Starliner was supposed to dock with the ISS. Due to multiple software bugs, this procedure was ultimately aborted. Starliner was dangerous. Then in 2021, just hours before liftoff, a valve issue was discovered, grounding the capsule for nearly another year. In 2022, Starliner successfully docked with the station, but a close analysis revealed that its parachute system and wiring didn't meet NASA's safety standards. After solving these problems, the capsule was finally supposed to launch on April 22nd, but due to ISS scheduling issues, the mission was again delayed, this time to early May 2024. Patience is a virtue.
I remember when I was young, I always wanted to drive the platform that takes the spaceship out from, the frickin' silo that it's built in out to, where it's going to launch from. I just always thought that was the coolest thing ever. I know it goes like a mile a year, something super slow so it doesn't jostle everything up. Anyway, it's pretty interesting. So they did end up having one successful docking, but everything else seemed to be an issue. Like it was delayed and then finally they're like, okay, go. And then it docked and then it came back and they're like, hey, these things are wrong. So then they're like, okay, we're going to do it again this time. We've got everything in order. We're going to put people on it. And it launched in May of 2024. And just kidding, there was another setback. And they finally did launch for an 8-day mission on June 5th, 2024.
4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. And liftoff of Starliner and Atlas V, carrying 2 American heroes, drawing a line to the stars for all of us.
Commander Butch Wilmore, they're calling down to Mission Control here in Houston that the spacecraft has begun rolling into the right attitude for its ascent, and the Guidance, Navigation, and Control Officer here in the room seeing good data on that.
Starliner passing through max Q, or the point of maximum dynamic pressure where the forces of air friction are highest, which in Sunny will shortly be passing through Mach 1, where the speed of sound.
Looked like a pretty successful launch, didn't it? So everything looked good. They went up just fine. They had their 25-hour, flight to the International Space Station. The capsule docked with the International Space Station, but something wasn't right.
Test pilots Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams left Earth on a mission that was expected to last just a week. But the Boeing capsule's undocking was delayed because of faulty thrusters and small helium leaks, causing major safety headaches. Both NASA and Boeing say the two astronauts will stay at the International Space Station until they can work on a solution. Officials say the astronauts aren't stranded as such and that the technical difficulties do not threaten the mission overall.
Did you catch that? Yeah. Oh, it's a big surprise, right? There was problems with the Boeing stuff. We're all shocked. Like, just shocked. It has been nothing but problems ever since it even started being in production. Nothing but problems. And then they're like, yeah, get on the ship. You're going to be fine. Let's go. What? They've been out there for 2 months. Almost 2 months. Today's the 4th. Right? And it launched June 5th. So almost 2 freaking months they've been out there. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And what is even crazier is I just learned about this last night. Why isn't this a much bigger thing? I don't know if I'm not looking in the right places to get news or what is going on, but this should be a huge thing. Everybody should know about this. These people are stuck in space. And they have been for almost 2 months. Now that I'm doing some research, they're saying that they're not actually stuck.
We can get in our spacecraft and we can undock, talk to our team, and figure out the best way to come home.
Sunny Williams and Butch Wilmore are now 50 days into a mission that was supposed to last only 8.
Please begin the live tour of Starliner.
There's Butch coming in through the hatch.
And thanks to a malfunctioning Boeing Starliner, their extended stay in zero gravity is getting even longer.
And liftoff of Starliner at Atlas V.
Wilmore and Williams launched on a test flight of Starliner June 5th. As they closed in on the International Space Station, the spacecraft sprang multiple helium leaks. Several thrusters stopped working. Engineers are running tests in space and on the ground to figure out what went wrong. But NASA says they need more time before announcing a return date.
We're making great progress, but we're just not quite ready to do that.
NASA believes Starliner can still get the astronauts home, but the agency also says it's working on backup plans, which could include calling on a Boeing competitor, a SpaceX Dragon capsule.
The beauty of having Dragon and Starliner and 2 different diverse space transportation systems is we can kind of use those as backups.
NASA says the astronauts remain in good spirits.
I love how he's like, well, it's good to know that we've got the Dragon capsule as a backup. Yeah, it's pretty good to know that there's somebody there that can actually, do their job. What I thought was crazy, though, is this is a test flight. They're test pilots, right? To test out this thing that has been having all of these problems. And in the end, they still said, yeah, I'm going to get on that ship. What? Why? No, there is no way I would get on that ship. I know that's like their job is to be the test pilot, but with as many things as were going wrong, I'd want another, blank fire. Send one up without people on it one more time just to make sure. But no, they're like, okay, let's get on the ship.
Today, NASA and Boeing admit they still don't have a clear return date for those 2 astronauts that got up there on the Starliner. They're not technically stuck up there, but it sure seems like they might be stuck up there. Officials have insisted that Sunny Williams and Butch Wilmore are not stuck.
That's right, because there are ways they could get back. We're going to talk about that here in a second, but they aren't at this point ready to commit to a return date yet. The astronauts have been in space now for 50 days on a mission that was supposed to last only a week. CNN's Kristen Fisher here with us as always, and officials just held a press conference and there's an update. Yes or no?
Well,
or we're waiting for this?
we got an update, but we didn't get a return date. That's what everybody's been waiting for. It's what everybody's been hoping for. It didn't come. Now, both NASA leaders and Boeing leaders say that they've made great progress on the testing that they've been doing on the grounds in White Sands, New Mexico. They've been testing these thrusters that failed up in space on the ground, see if they can duplicate the efforts there. They say they've made progress, but not enough to give an actual return date. And listen to this. One of the NASA leaders that was on the call, Steve Stitch, he was asked point blank, can you definitively say that these two NASA astronauts coming home on this Starliner spacecraft? Here's what he said.
Focus today, as Mark said, as Mark and I have been working for the last number of weeks, is to return Butch and Sonny on Starliner. I think we're starting to close in on those final pieces of the flight rationale to make sure that we can come home safely. And that's our primary focus right now. We have contingency options. We've put those in play. NASA always has contingency options.
So even now, this many weeks in, NASA still saying that they can't definitively say that Butch and Sonny will be able to come home on this Starliner spacecraft.
Now, the whole reason why I decided to replace what I had planned for today with this particular bit of information is, like I said earlier, that I had no clue about it. And I'm sure it's because I look in the wrong places or I'm not looking in the right places. But this information is completely new to me. And how many other people are learning about this for the first time? That there are astronauts that took some Boeing ship up to the International Space Station and now they're stuck there. Oh, but they're not stuck. Don't worry, they're not stuck. No, they're freaking stuck. Your crap ship went up and it's not going to work. And they're not going to be able to come back in it. So, yeah, they're stuck. Boeing, way to go. Anyway, that's just incredible news to me. And if you didn't know about it either, now you know. It's crazy, right? On that note, thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. Come on back tomorrow. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day. Don't get stuck in space. Don't take Boeing up there because they just can't frickin' do it.